His imitations of world-famous paintings are more real than the real ones, but he is so poor that he can't even afford to buy paints. In order to get out of poverty and get rich, he decided to make fake money. First step, design. Anyone who has made counterfeit bills knows, if the bill is scanned, more will appear. So the bottom of the bill could only be drawn by hand. Jack spent 3 days and nights in front of his desk. Finally, he put the pieces together, the front and back of a 500 rupee bill, and so he drew it out. The second step was printing. This step was not Jack's strong point, but his good brother David was too good at it, because his family owned a printing press. He even knows the paints better than the machine. First he had to photocopy the backing plate, and then you fix it little by little. Then you wear it down with a glass ball, and then apply a protective coating. Finally baking and cleaning. Then it's time to witness the miracle. Once the printing was complete, they were ready to print in bulk. But unfortunately, their machine can only print one color at a time, so they have to repeat it 4 times. Print, clean, change colors. Soon a single bill is printed. The next step is because of the professional cutting machine. This step is relatively easy. After the cutting is completed, the banknotes have been initially formed. The next most important step is to add the anti-counterfeiting function. Cut the sequins bought from the stalls into thin strips, then manually thread it into the banknote. The security wire of the banknote is thus solved. Finally, the numbers of different sizes are printed on the top left and bottom right corners, and they had a perfect bill. Jack stared at the bill for a long time. He had a feeling that something was wrong. Yes, it was too new and too clean. Throw the bill in the tea, and then he dried it out. Now it looks much better, but they can't say. They need to go out and test it. The two of them went to a busy marketplace. David took a fake bill and squeezed into the crowd and asked for a soda, but unfortunately, the owner took the money and rubbed it, and then pulled a few times. The boss found out on the spot that the money was fake. Luckily, at this time Jack in time to step in. The two men fled in a hurry, run out of several blocks in one breath. Finally, they got rid of the man. Back home, the two men were puzzled. How in the world did the boss find out? Jack did not give up. This day he took 3 bills and asked David to guess which one was fake. David took them one by one. After looking at it, he found the fake bill. Why? Because the paper used was not right. People who have touched real money can tell the difference when they touch it. The next two people began to look around for paper close to the banknotes, but they searched the streets and alleys without the right. However, one day, Jack accidentally found, if you put 2 pieces of paper together, the feel was almost the same. He immediately came up with a good idea. First bleach this paper. Then he printed the front and back of the bill on the 2 pieces of paper. Then he punched holes in the front side and threaded security wire. Finally, the 2 pieces of paper were glued together. This way the counterfeit banknotes will solve the problem of hand feel. Then they made a pigment with metallic paint. The problem of discoloration of the banknotes was solved. Finally, the banknotes were soaked in tea and then dried. This time it was absolutely fine. The two men went to the market again, the same store. This time Jack went to buy a bottle of soda. After handing over the money, Jack was very nervous, but to his excitement, a few moments later he received the soda. So that means they made it. The two of them were so excited that they took a cab. They sang and danced in the car. But before they could be happy for a few days, the two brothers were arrested. The counterfeit bills he forged could pass for real. Even a money detector can't tell the difference. Jack let the gangster take out 2 real money. Then he mixed the fake money with the real money. He threatened that if he could find the counterfeit money, he would give the gangster $100,000 in cash. But if he couldn't find it, he would have to give him $100,000 in cash. The gangster was stunned by Jack's confidence. He said, "Forget it, do not pay, you find the fake money." The result is that Jack found half a day. They cannot tell the difference. The gangster picked up 3 pieces of money and looked at them again and again. Finally believed in Jack's skills. At a price of 150 for 500, he ordered 200 million in orders directly. Jack did not even think about it and agreed. On the way home David questioned. They were almost exhausted just making 100,000 pieces. 200 million orders cannot be made. But don't forget, David's family has a printing plant. Back home that night, Jack learned from his uncle about the maximum printing capacity of the printing plant in a day. Then he took out a fake bill. He told his uncle about his plan. After looking at it in front of the light, he really couldn't tell the difference between real and fake. In order to completely eliminate the uncle's worries, the next day Jack took his uncle to a restaurant with a fake bill and had a meal. Everything went so smoothly. No one even noticed that he was using fake money. Now the uncle completely free of worries. To speed things up, they ordered a large printing press and a dryer, but soon they realized a serious problem. They didn't have the paper. David went to several paper mills, but the type of paper he wanted was restricted paper. Without a government certificate, they couldn't buy it, but that was no problem for Jack. He found a paper mill. He found that there were only 3 security guards, so he found some friends and prepared to rob the paper mill. But when they got here, they were dumbfounded. There was a soccer game tonight. Suddenly there was a large group of security guards. Luckily, Jack found enough people. In the end, the security guards were kept under control. The truck drove straight into the warehouse. To prevent attracting attention, all types of paper pulled some. With enough paper, Jack and his men began to print on a large scale. Within a few days, 200 million were printed. Come to the trading place. After the gangster inspected the goods, he quickly paid the money. Their first transaction was completed smoothly. Before leaving, the gangster told Jack he would need more. Jack said he could do it any time. Then they printed a large amount of counterfeit money. They paid off the money they owed the printer. With this method, the 2 poor guys became rich. But when you walk by the river, you have to get wet sooner or later. This day Jack invited a beautiful woman to dinner. He used some fake bills. As soon as they left, they were discovered by the bank. This printing house prints magazines by day, printing counterfeit money at night. Once the workers are off duty, the show is on. From the very beginning, only 6 sheets could be printed per page. 1 drying cylinder, to later printing 28 sheets per edition. 3 drying cylinders. The output is getting bigger and bigger. More and more revenue. But greed also became more and more uncontrollable. One day Jack invited his goddess to a fancy restaurant for dinner. But when the check was paid, he realized that he didn't have enough real money. This time cannot lose faith. face, so he used the fake money he had with him to buy the bill. But what he didn't know was, this action almost killed him. Just after the two of them left, Mary, who works in a bank, happened to come here for a blind date. Not very satisfied with her date, Mary offered to pay for the bill on AAA basis, but when she picked up the change she was given, she instantly realized that something was wrong. After carefully examining it, she concluded that it was a fake bill. Mary approached the waitress. She said she was an analyst for the savings bank. She suspected that there was a counterfeit bill and needed to check it. After the inspection, she found all the counterfeit bills that Jack had just used. Mary took the counterfeit bills back to the bank. She repeatedly checked the bills with the money detector. The machine failed to detect the bills. She stared in disbelief at the counterfeit bills. From all the details, it looked so perfect. But soon Mary realized that it was a laminated counterfeit. It means that the person who made the counterfeit bill is not an organization. There was no professional machine. Maybe just one or two people. A printer. And, of course, that damn talent. But people like this have to be caught before it's too late. On the other hand, the counterfeit money Jack made was a big hit in the circle. The mob boss who bought $200 million from him last time had introduced him to another big client. Jack and David came to the Promised nightclub. This man is the boss of the gangster. He has a principle that he must meet in person to discuss business. Seeing that Jack and David are not bad people, the boss ordered $200 million of goods. He wanted it in 2 weeks, and he had to deliver it to your door. Home delivery is too risky, but the big brother gave too much. Jack still decided to take this order. Now the business is getting bigger and bigger. They needed a regular company as a cover. Jack found an old man in the village to register a magazine company, and then recruited a customer service, only responsible for answering the phone. After all that, he started printing counterfeit money day and night in the printing press. But what he didn't know was, while he was printing counterfeit money like crazy, Mary was already looking for him. Since finding Jack's counterfeit bills at the hotel, Mary told her boss about it, but he simply reported it to the police and stopped asking questions. Mary approached him several times and wanted to apply for a personal investigation, but the leader said that this is a police matter, do not meddle in it. One day Mary saw a job opening for a counterfeit currency team on the internet, so she went straight to the leader to resign and apply for the job. The team leader was shocked by Mary's resume, a master's degree in printing technology. She had also studied in Germany. Why did she have to come to him to suffer? But Mary said she only wanted to catch the criminals who counterfeit money. It's good to have this expert. Mary was retained. She worked for a few days and had nothing to do. One day Mary couldn't stand it any longer. She took the counterfeit money she found in the hotel. She approached the team leader to request an investigation. The team leader took a look at the counterfeit bills. He immediately concluded that it was a double layer of counterfeit banknotes. The work of a small man, not worth mentioning. Mary said it wasn't high-tech, but the design was brilliant. They had to be stopped. But the team leader said their goal was to catch the counterfeit money mogul, Manso. Such a small role, stand aside first. The team leader rushes off to a meeting, leaving Mary alone with a disappointed face. But she's a very persistent person. She saw the official seal of the team leader on the table, so she picked up the official seal and stamped it on the application form. That afternoon, Mary went to the police station. She asked the chief to send someone to cooperate with her investigation. With the official seal, the chief could only cooperate with her. At that time, Jack was still printing like crazy. He was unaware that the police car had arrived outside the printing plant. The factory is printing counterfeit money as if it were in full swing, but a police car came outside. Mary has taken the director to check 10 places with this kind of money printing machine. If there's still no problem here, maybe she's just being paranoid. At this time Jack and a few people also found a police car came, but it was not business hours. They didn't pay much attention to it, but within a few minutes, the manager's phone rang. It turned out that the chief had asked a passerby for his phone number, ordered him to come and open the door immediately. Several people were dumbfounded, because tomorrow is the day of delivery. The last edition will be printed soon. If we turn off the machine now, it will take a long time to warm up. It would definitely delay the delivery tomorrow. Jack asked his uncle to pretend his leg hurt and go out to stall for a while. Slowly, he came to the front door through the back door. The men started to negotiate with the director. The director did not want to check. It's a good time to go home to his wife and kids. But Mary insisted on going in to take a look. David saw someone coming in from the second floor, asked Jack to turn off the machine quickly. But Jack said if we turn it off now, tomorrow, the goods will not be delivered. Wait a little longer. The two of them argued for a long time. Just as the door was opened, the last edition was finally printed. Turned off the machine quickly, rolling and crawling to hide the fake money. The door slowly opened. Several people came in with a flashlight, but there was nothing to see inside the darkness. The director asked the manager to turn on the lights. Are you kidding me? If you turn on the light at this time, it's all over. The manager had to pretend that his leg hurt and continue to stall for time, although the counterfeit bills were hidden, but the scraps were still in the trash. Mary was about to discover it. Jack had to come out quietly, ready to send Mary to heaven at any time. And just then, Mary's cell phone rang. Her boss had found out that she was stealing the official seal. She was told to go back immediately. Mary had no choice but to leave. After Mary and the others left, Jack and the others finished their last job. The next day, they drove the truck to deliver. This is when the purse company came in handy. They had the right papers, they had the right stuff. A little bribery when they came across an inspector. The two men arrived at the trading place without any problems. One hand pays the money, the other hand pays the money. A truckload of counterfeit money was exchanged for 2 bags of real money. But the feeling of holding real money is really great. However, the two men were not happy when they returned to the printing plant. Jack's grandfather found out they were printing counterfeit money. He threw the two brothers out in a huff. Without their grandfather's print shop, the counterfeiting was put on hold. But the two men had made enough money. They could eat, drink and be merry for the rest of their lives. And during the time that Jack and David were out of work, Mary developed a new type of money inspection equipment and got the support of the state, promoted in the country. This change did not affect the two men because they were holding the real money, but it did affect the counterfeit money baron Mansu. This guy was printing rupees all over the world. The amount of money sent to India every year is in the billions. With this device, his counterfeit money won't work. But just when Mansu was worried, his men brought back a counterfeit $500 note from India. The most important thing was that this counterfeit note could escape the new equipment developed by Mary. So Mansoor secretly returned to India. He sent someone to find the person who made the counterfeit money. That's right, it was Jack and David.